Hey guys, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Shareholders podcast. Thank you guys for investing the time. I greatly appreciate it, man. God is good. And I have a great guest, a patient guest here with me today. Her name is Miss Precious Thornton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. And I thank you for the time. Thank you for coming on. And guys, she is a real go-getter and I got a lot to get into. So we're going to jump right in because that's what we do here. We're really just trying to show you guys people in business, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are about, a lot of different things to inspire. And this show has given me such great feedback. So I enjoy these conversations I have. So first of all, you have, a lot of different endeavors and, you look at your social media and you got something going here, something going there. And that's kind of what always attracts me to even ask people on the show. So first thing I want to ask is, where did you get your entrepreneurial spirit from? Is that something you've always had, or did you kind of develop it?
I think it was something that I always had, but my grandmother, it was just something that was always in my family. My grandmother, she used to sell plates, and sell catfish and just all kind of stuff to make money and make things ends meet for her children. So I think it was just something that was always in my family. And sometimes we just have to dig deeper in ourselves to kind of pull out what's already there. So I think it was already there. It just took some time and just took some journey through life to really kind of, cause it to blossom. So
I like to ask that as the first question. And most people, they say it was a family member or they saw somebody or their parents had a business or, their mother and that kind of rubbed off just watching a person work, and it kind of made an impact on them, which I love that. So one of your many things is called Push Sis. And what is that? And then what kind of made you want to really launch that into a brand, if you can hit both of those?
It's actually basically what I started doing, what I saw myself kind of doing. It started, I would say, around 2014. I started getting influence on social media by encouraging people. And so I would just always see people gravitate towards me because I was able to like carry their load or maybe understand where they were coming from and kind of just pull them out of their pit. So just pushing people basically. And so, at first it wasn't a brand. At first it was just something that I love to do to encourage people and push people. And then as life journeyed on, I found myself in some difficult situations where I didn't have that same encouragement, how I was giving it out, pushing people every day, navigating them through their storms. But then I didn't have anybody to navigate me through some of the storms that I was experiencing. And so God just reminded me of 1 Samuel 30:6, which was about David, how, he was in a place of distress and then he had to encourage himself. And so I found ways to continue to push people, but at the same time, be able to encourage myself. And so Push Sis kind of became my own anthem. It was designed to push others into their destiny, but then it was just that reminder every single day that no matter what you're going through, you got to push through this. You got to push through this because somebody else is depending on you to survive. And so I think that's really important, when it comes to not giving up. We really have to think about not just ourselves, but be selfless and think about other people that are depending on us. Sometimes we have our children, our spouses, and other people are depending on us to live. And so we have to continue to encourage ourselves. So that's kind of where Push Sis came from. And then it just kind of developed into this brand.
Yeah. And if I can just take a side note with that, because a lot of times these things are birthed from personal things. And, like you say, you don't start out to have it be that, but it becomes that. But do you sometimes feel the weight of that, because a lot of people now look to you, because and it's a situation where we got to be careful that the strong person we always looking to, let's make sure they're all right as well. Do you kind of sometimes feel that pressure a little bit of
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's that's the thing that I dealt with a lot in life. I felt that pressure, but even as David journeyed on, it was times in his life that he still had to push, he still had to be able to encourage those people, even though he felt the weight and the pressure of people. And you just have to really realize that sometimes people aren't as strong as you are, and sometimes you don't realize how strong you really are until you're put in a situation that you have to be strong. And so I found a lot of people in my life that they weren't necessarily as strong as I was, but I recognized that God created me the way He created me to carry a certain load. The Bible says that He will never put more on us than we can bear. And so we know if it's on us, then that means that we have the strength. Sometimes we just have to dig a little bit deeper.
Man, that's outstanding. So, okay, guys. So, in addition to that, she's also an author of multiple works. So, how did you even get into writing? Where did Eric? I know a lot of people. Man, I'm gonna write a book one of these days, and don't never get around to. How did you actually get around to doing that?
And so when I actually didn't know how to write, I would see other people with books and stuff, and a lot of stuff that I developed, it really came out of just a personal relationship with God. Because to be honest, people wouldn't help me. People wouldn't give me the insight. They wouldn't tell me. I would ask people, "How do you write a book?" or "What publishing company do you go through? How do you do this? How do you do that?" And no one would tell me. They'd be like, "Oh, you just want to write a book because I got one," or "You want to do," and I'm like, "I want to write a book because I have a story." And so I just began to pray. I began to fast. And what people don't, I know some people get weary in praying and fasting, like God is not answering me. But sometimes it's just a matter of being still and being quiet and listening for that voice. And so God strategically, He woke me up and He would tell me what to make the title of the book was. And so I didn't know how to structure it at first, and I was just like all over the place. But God said, just start writing. And so I would just start writing my feelings, and that was kind of therapy for me. Because as I stated before, I didn't have that support system. I didn't have those people that I could talk to, or people that I could really just pour out to. Because some people aren't on your level, and then some people don't understand your experience because they haven't experienced those things that you've experienced. And so I found myself in my own therapy sessions just writing. And then as I wrote, God would tell me how to structure it, like just say I'm writing about love, then I would, base this chapter of love, and everything that I had to say about love went in that particular chapter. And so He just started strategically showing me how to do it. And then I had like graphic designers and things like that that just kind of helped me to put it together. And it just kind of started developing out of a book. And then God was just saying, if you allow me to teach you, you'll never have to depend on somebody else. Because the truth of the matter is, if people can take you to a place, they can keep you from a place.
Mm.
And so we just have to learn how to do it ourselves. We can't be lazy, we can't be slowful. We have to be about our Father's business, and we have to learn a lot of things ourselves. And that way people can't keep you out of doors. And so that's kind of how my books and things got developed. And I just researched. I think research, Google is our best friend, but sometimes we're lazy. And so I researched, and I figured out how to put it together, figured out how to get them printed, figured out how to do all of that by myself, how to publish, self-publish them, and all that. And so now, if I want to write a book, I can. And if I don't, I don't, nobody can stop me from doing and putting out what I need to put out.
Man, wow, you just said a mouthful right there. That is, guys, I hope y'all heard that, because sometimes we get discouraged when we do ask for help, and like you said, people kind of turn you down and all that. But what did she just say? She did it herself. She started putting together, just going on YouTube. I tell young people all the time, I was like, y'all got such a great resource on YouTube. I don't know why y'all be acting like y'all can't do stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so much out there. But similar, it seems like too. You mentioned David when he encouraged himself, and that was at, for those that read the Bible, that was at Ziklag. And what happened was he was on the run from Saul. But as he was traversing, men started coming in to be with him to help him out and things like that. And but he had to go on his own first, and it was probably a hard thing. And it seems like that's kind of your testimony, where you was like, fine, I'm gonna just do it myself. Now I'm sure now everybody love it and everybody want to be a part, but you had that time where you just, and that's admirable. I love that, because you just, if you got a vision, go ahead and go for it.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't let people stop you. When you have that vision, you just gotta go full speed. Because once you take the first step, I just learned that God will do the rest. He will give you the resources, and everything that you need to go further.
Awesome. That is awesome. Okay, guys. Now, in addition, we didn't talked about her push sis. We didn't talk about, she got books out. Also an actress, y'all. Like I told y'all thought I was playing. I'm not. I don't know how much she sleep every night. Look here, man. So now, people, as soon as you say actress, people are like, oh my gosh, glitz and glamour, it's great. But I know just from a few people I've talked to that that's actually a very hard job, long hours, a lot of time on set. But what is maybe like a good thing that you like about the acting, and then maybe something that people don't realize that's a lot harder or that they don't know about?
I would say what I love about acting is just meeting new people. I love to meet new people. I love to learn about people, their culture, how they do things different. Because like a lot of people always like, you have so many friends, you have Indian friends, Mexican friends. I'm just a relatable person, but I try to understand where people are coming from. So I absolutely love that. I can go from one job to another and meet 500 people one day, meet another 500. I just love meeting new people and just networking with people. So I think that's the best thing that I love about acting, just being in those environments and just seeing and meeting new people and some amazing people. And then I think maybe the bad, I wouldn't say there's a bad thing about it. If I had to say anything bad, I would just say like, some roles, that I feel like people go out for. It's just their preference. I've had opportunities to do certain things, and it probably would have been like, major. But I think just, as far as acting, you just have to stay in your lane. You have to trust what God has called you to, and do that particular thing, and you'll eventually stand out in your own way. But I haven't experienced anything super bad. It's just, just getting in there, meeting new people, networking, and you making the best of it. I believe that you can change any environment that you're in. So it's been pretty good for me so far.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you, as a woman of faith and a woman of God, you know, sometime in that industry, and not even in music and other things, sometimes, people who are Christians, there's some things that can pull you, or there, like you say, or maybe there's a role that you don't quite feel comfortable with. Do you ever feel a struggle with that, or are you pretty much, because I think it may be for younger people too, because they're so excited and they might do something they don't want to do, but do you worry about that at all? Like, Lord, guide me, because I don't want to be in the wrong thing or anything like that, because there's a lot of stuff out there.
Absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't say I so much worry about it, because with acting, you can choose whatever you want to do. I do know there is what do you call it, peer pressure to be able to do certain things
Right.
that you may not want to do. But again, you just have to trust who you are, and you have to stick to that. I think people get, with being a Christian, and then God allowing you to penetrate certain mountains, a mountain of entertainment, mountain of media, and stuff like that. They feel like it's difficult, but it's really not. I was talking to someone a little while back, and I was just letting them know, the Bible says you can be in the world, but not of the world. So you can be in a certain place, but you don't have to necessarily do what they do. And
Yeah.
so, what I mean by that is you just have to know how to go in and out of the industry. That's just like if you invited me to your home and I've never been there before, and you say, hey, I need you to take your shoes off at the door. I can take it's okay for me to take my shoes off and I'm going in this particular door, but I don't necessarily have to drink when I get in your home. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of knowing how to navigate. That's the thing when you're a Christian and you're in this your secular world, or that you just have to know how to navigate. You don't always have to do, and that comes with knowing who you are. That way people can't pressure you to do what they want you to do. If you know who you are and say, hey, this is just not what I do, you don't have to accept that role. You have to trust who you are. You have to trust the God in you and know that if I don't get this role, God has something greater. And so it's been pretty easy for me because I could be on set with Jennifer Hudson, and they may filming is different. They may show a sexual scene. That doesn't mean that I was in that particular scene because I'm in the movie. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? And so they film on different days. You're not necessarily where they are. They could have did a sex scene on Tuesday, and then I could be at the restaurant on Friday, and then the movie comes together. That doesn't mean that I was with them when they did that part. So you get to navigate and choose what you want to do.
And yeah, it's so good having you give that insight because a lot of people don't know. They're not on. They don't even know what a film set. They don't know what it
Yeah.
process is, all that stuff. So okay, now I want to ask you all the things you do. And y'all, I ain't list everything, but we didn't say that. The actress, you know what I mean. You a makeup artist, y'all. I think you coach soccer. I don't know what all the stuff you do.
Maybe
Whatever.
I probably do that too.
What's your favorite? Like, what do you really? Maybe what is your just? You might love all of it, but what's just the one you really you could call your favorite out of all the things you do?
My favorite would be a cosmetologist. I'm actually a cosmetologist. September will be 15 years.
Oh, wow.
I actually wanted to get into film to do hair and makeup. That was the plan, but it wasn't God's plan. So sometimes we just have to go with what He doing. But yes, cosmetology, I love it. Like I said, I love meeting new people, and a lot of people don't understand that it's not just doing their hair. For me, it's a spiritual thing and it's therapy because you have some, say I have an alopecia patient. I said patient, my sister's in the nursing field. But I have a client that has alopecia, and you come in and you give them this whole wig or hairstyle or whatever, and it's just like they blossom. They feel amazing. They feel like a new person. They're not depressed. They're not, and so it's like I get the ability to not only just change their hair, but I get to change their world. I get to change their emotions that day. I've literally had people that wanted to commit suicide, and then they got their hair done, and they like, I just feel like living again. I just feel like,
Wow.
great
Wow.
again, amazing. So those opportunities to counsel them and those opportunities to really share, back and forth, that's more than money could ever, buy. So cosmetology, that's my first love. That will always be my first love.
That's a great answer. I love that. I do know this that, and I don't even want to just say black women. Women in their hair is a sacred, special of all creeds, all races. I know that women. So whoever does their hair, that's a special thing. So yeah, I'm sure it's a lift for some people to be to feel a certain way. But once the hair is done, it gives them a boost. That is very important. So
You guys y'all feel the same way when y'all get your
yeah,
line and all.
we get the cut, and yeah, the barbershop. It's a yeah, we be feeling better. We do. So now we talked a little earlier about with the push sis initiative you do, and then how people kind of gravitate to you. But with all that you're doing, do you have any people that you talk to, any mentors or any people that okay? Let me just bounce something off this person. I trust them to kind of give me some good advice. Is there people like that in your life?
Yeah, I have like I say my mom, she mentors me, and she just Like, I mean, amazing. But like outside people, my pastor, I can call him anytime of the day, anytime of night. But the beauty of that is my pastor is my first cousin. Our moms are sisters,
Wow.
so like I get to call my cousin, and he
Yeah.
gets to give me business information and all kind of stuff. So he definitely mentors me. Just, I mean, even for the last 10 years, he's just that person that I could talk to. I could, he pours into me spiritually. He's my older cousin, but I'm his spiritual daughter, and so we just have the most amazing relationship. And then like other entrepreneurs and people that are movers and shakers. I love Dr. City Trim. I listen to all of her
Yeah.
teachings.
Oh yeah.
Just those mega people of influence. And so I just try to keep an eye out on those people. And family is, the best support for me when I need to just pour out and talk and get on their nerves. I just talk, even if they walking around the house not listening, I'm talking. So I would say those people, some people may not know me, but they mentor me from afar, like Dr. Cindy Trim and all those people, they mentor me from afar. But I would have to say my cousin, his name is Apostle Keith Marks. He's a very, very spiritual, strong man of God. And so he's one of my people I keep right in my pocket all the time.
Yeah. And I always try to ask that question as well with anybody from any field that comes on here, and they always have an answer, because I think for anybody that's on the come up, you got to make sure you have an outlet that, I know we're trying to, I got it, I got it, I got it. I know, but still, when it gets tight and you really need, make sure you have that person in your life. And like she said, if it could be your pastor, a parent, it doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to be we all can't talk to Steve Harvey. You know what I'm saying? So, find somebody that you could call, you know what I mean? It's great if you can talk to Steve. I'm sure he got some good advice, but, so, man, this has been a great interview. I'm going to wrap it up. I got just two more, but, so for you, with all the things that you're doing, what is kind of your vision for success? Like, where do you want to go with all this? I mean, not that you haven't done some great things already, but I don't like to call it a 5-year plan, but I just like to ask people, like, what's the next step for you, or where do you want to go with this?
You know what? When I think about success, it just really depends on the eye of the person, because what I may see as success in 5 years, that may not be what you even desire for your life. And so with everything that I've done, it's literally been God ordained. So in what I had planned, you want marriage, you want all this stuff. What I had planned, God hasn't really just done that yet. He kind of twists my world upside down.
Yeah.
And so I just learned to acknowledge him in all my ways and let him direct my path, because, we've what we planned in 2020, COVID breakout, you know.
Yeah.
So it was so unexpected that everybody had to reroute their plans. I mean, you just really had to figure out what we're gonna do next. What is life gonna look like after this? And so I learned to really just live in the moment. Far as acting, yeah, I would love to get a big major speaking role, but a lot of things that people think that I would probably want is not really what I want. It's not like something that I would say, oh, this is going to satisfy me, to have a big mansion and to, be on TV and do all this. And that's probably the craziest answer, because everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to be major, but to whom much is given, much is required. And so
Yeah.
it's required of us to do so much more. And so I just really learned to be content with what I already have and just take it a day at a time to survive, to get to the next day. And so I don't think at this moment that there's just something super big that I'm like, oh, I want to be on top of the world. I want to, I want to have all this money. I want to do all this, because that doesn't necessarily satisfy me. I just really, honestly, I would have probably preferred to just be regular, because people don't understand the warfare that comes with influence.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's great to be seen, it's great to have influence, but can you handle it? And they don't understand the warfare and the problems and the trials that come with it. And so when you go through those experiences, it gives you a different outlook on life. It puts you in a different space. But I what I can say now is God has just been kind. He's just been faithful, and He's just really been leading me. So I think I'm gonna continue to let Him be the pilot of this plane, and just
Yeah.
say, whatever His will is for my life, that's what I want next.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we try to plan our things and all that stuff, God has a way of just, and I love how you said that. The whole world had a plan in 2020. We all thought we was doing something, and,
Yeah,
and COVID said nope. Y'all,
see, that's how.
movies, all of that, the sports, we shut it all down. So that's a very good answer. Um, so I just want to end and ask you then. I always like to give a little recommendation for the readers out there on the show. Any books that you could recommend? Anything that you've been reading lately, or a favorite book of yours you'd like to tell?
Um, you know what? A book that changed my life in 2020 was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Hey, come on now.
And it literally took me from, because people don't like to talk about their struggles, their finances, and what they have going on. But I was I was raised in the country. I was a country girl. I knew what I was taught.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so when you know what you're taught, you can't expect anything greater from your parents, from your grandparents, from anybody, because they can't give you what's not in them. And
Yes.
so all I had was what was in them. And so when I read that book, it really changed my life. Like I mean, I started like getting, assets and getting my credit right and all this, and it literally changed my life. So I just, say that book right there. So yeah, I think that's a game changer. I think it's a different way to really look at money, look at finances, and then be able to proceed with business and everything. So it really opened up my understanding and my knowledge for wealth and money and things like that. So I just say, if anybody's trying to be an entrepreneur or you're really ready to take your life to the next level, that's definitely a good read.
Yeah, man, that's a great. Hey, that's one of the. If you try, you say if you trying to do anything, that's a book you got to read. Every entrepreneur, almost everybody's read that book. But guys, I have had an excellent time with Miss
Yeah.
Precious Thornton. Please let people know where they can. If they just hearing about you, let them know where they can find you. Your plugs and all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can just go to www.pushthis.com. I have a makeup line, some products, books, and everything. If you want to know a little bit more about me, I have a bio information on there. So you can definitely get in contact with me there. And I'm on Instagram. I am Precious Thornton, Facebook Precious Thornton. So any of those social media outlets, you can definitely find me. And I would love to, connect with you guys.
Guys, I'm telling you, she's got. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot my last question. That's right. I had one more question, but
Yeah, go ahead.
as we end this, guys, I'm telling you, she's got a great line of stuff out there. And I wanted to ask about one of those products you have. Now, again, I meant to ask you when I was talking about hair, and I know you're gonna laugh. But help the fellas out who don't know. And fellas, don't be proud. Okay, 'cause I know what I'm about to ask. You've been wanting to ask. Maybe you just been embarrassed. Miss Thornton, what is edge control? Like I hear it, I hear people talk about it. I've seen you with your little edge control product. Break it down for a brother, because I don't get what is edge control.
So edge control, it controls your edges. Okay, so it's that simple. It controls your edges. Some of us are relaxed, but when that relaxer wear off, those edges get to sticking up. You need them to slick down like baby hairs. That's what the edge control is for. And then you have those beautiful natural girls that have their curly hair and they just want to tame the edges and rock their fros and stuff like that. So it's just basically just like a gel, a hair gel to kind of tame your edges and give you the
So
baby.
is it for baby hair, or is it just on the edge and not the baby hair? Because I don't be see, you gotta help me out now.
You can use it on the hair completely, but most of the time it's just around the edges because you want to design, you want to make the baby hair.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, but you can use it, to braid. I started out as a braider, so you can use it to braid, to tame the hair, just kind of keep it in place.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what the edge control is for.
I've heard of many a woman talk about it. I know it's some married brothers that don't know what it is. And
Right.
now I'm helping y'all out because I said I'm gonna ask. You know what I mean? I don't know a whole lot. I just like to ask people questions. So thanks. See, now I feel better. Now
Yeah, yeah.
if I'm on Jeopardy and the Daily Double is
You're gonna
asking
get your money. You're gonna get your money. You're gonna get your money. Definitely.
Hey, I appreciated the time and thank you so much for coming on. Guys, check her out. Check us out as well. This is the Shareholders Podcast. I'm Monty. It's been a blessing to be on. You know where to find us on Mighty Sharp Network. Guys, been doing some great things, guys. We got some more stuff coming up. But Miss Thornton, thank you so much for the time. Have a blessed evening, okay?
Thank you for having me. See you guys later.
It's out of our control. It's not like he wants to kill. He just doesn't want to die. You know what I'm saying? It's that situation when you got, we are living in a war zone. I feel like I can represent my generation so much because I honestly did not care whether I lived or died. But now, I cannot die. I can't leave until this straight. You know, I'm not suicidal.